Let's talk about mania. It's one of the most defining and challenging parts of bipolar disorder. But how does modern medicine actually tackle something so complex? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the entire strategy for managing a manic episode, all the way from its history to what's on the cutting edge of treatment today. So here's our roadmap. We'll start by defining what mania really is. Then, we'll take a quick trip through the history of treatment, dive into today's modern playbook, look at the strategy for prevention, and finally, we'll explore what the future holds.
All right, first things first. What exactly is mania? It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but believe me, the clinical reality is a whole lot more serious than just being in a good mood.
At its core, mania isn't just about energy. It's a state of extreme mood elevation that can seriously impair judgment and cause major disruptions in someone's life. It's often serious enough to require hospitalization for safety, and it's the key feature that defines bipolar I disorder.
Now, it's absolutely crucial to distinguish mania from its milder cousin, hypomania. You see, hypomania is a less severe mood elevation, and it doesn't cause that same level of impairment. This difference is so important for diagnosis. Think of hypomania as a warning sign, while full-blown mania is a medical emergency. And here's something you might not realize. Mania isn't just one thing. It can feel euphoric for one person or intensely irritable for another. Get this, more than a third of manic episodes actually have depressive symptoms mixed in at the same time, and over half can involve psychosis. This huge variety is exactly why treatment has to be so carefully personalized.
So, how in the world do you treat it? Well, figuring out how to calm the storm of mania has been a medical quest that goes back centuries.
Hippocrates actually pegged mania as a brain disorder way back in 400 BC. But the real game changer? That came in 1949. An Australian psychiatrist named John Cade discovered that lithium had these powerful anti-manic effects. By 1970, it was FDA approved, and then in the 2000s, a whole new class of drugs, the atypical antipsychotics, gave doctors even more tools for their toolkit.
Cade's first study was actually pretty small, but it was like a spark in the dark. It ignited huge interest in the scientific community. His findings were later confirmed by placebo-controlled trials, the gold standard in medicine. And this is exactly how science is supposed to work. A single spark of observation, followed by rigorous testing, leads to a revolution in treatment.
Okay, so how does all that history shape what we do today? Let's get into the modern treatment playbook, which is based on guidelines from expert groups like CANMAT.
When a patient is in the middle of an acute manic episode, clinicians aren't just guessing. They're following a clear, evidence-based playbook designed to get the safest and best possible outcome.
The whole process really boils down to 3 core steps. First, you assess and stabilize. That means evaluating all the risks and stopping anything that could be making things worse. We're talking everything from antidepressants to even just caffeine. Second, you initiate a proven first-line therapy. And third, you optimize. If there's no real improvement in about 2 weeks, the plan gets adjusted. No waiting around.
And here's the really crucial point. When we say first line, it doesn't just mean stops mania the fastest. These treatments are picked because they also work for the depressive side of the illness. And this is so important, they help prevent future episodes. It's about playing the long game, right from day one. So this is what that playbook looks like in the real world. Clinicians will start with these top-tier, first-line options, like lithium, either by itself or in very specific combinations. If those don't do the trick, they move to the proven second-line options. It's a very structured approach, always starting with what the evidence tells us works best for most people.
And playing that long game brings us right to prevention. Because stopping one manic episode, that's just the start. The real goal here is long-term stability. Bipolar disorder is, by its nature, a chronic and relapsing condition. That means treatment doesn't just stop when the mania subsides. Maintenance therapy is absolutely essential to prevent the next episode. And this is so critical because there's evidence that every new episode can have a cumulative negative impact on the brain.
And the data on this is just, wow. It's striking. A recent analysis found that without ongoing treatment, the annual risk of a relapse is nearly 40%. 40%! But with maintenance therapy, that risk is cut in half. That is a truly life-changing difference.
But here comes the reality check. An estimated 50% of patients struggle to stick with their long-term treatment. And the reasons for that are really complex. It could be side effects, or it could just be feeling better and thinking you don't need it anymore. This is probably the single biggest hurdle in managing bipolar disorder, and it's why that relationship between a doctor and patient is just so vital.
So, where is all of this heading? Let's wrap up by taking a look at what the future of treatment might hold for us.
The ultimate goal here is nothing short of a paradigm shift. We want to move away from this sort of one-size-fits-all, trial-and-error model and move toward a model of care that is precise, personalized, and truly preventative.
This is the incredible promise of personalized medicine. Just imagine using biomarkers, things like brain scans or genetic tests, to predict which medication is right for which patient right from the very start. That is the holy grail of this research, ending that painful trial and error period and getting people treatment that works way faster.
And the other huge frontier is technology. Researchers are deep into studying how the smartphones in our pockets and the wearables on our wrists can track symptoms like mood, sleep, and activity. These digital tools could one day give us real-time data to predict a manic episode before it even fully takes hold, giving patients and doctors powerful new ways to be proactive.
Which really leaves us with this final, incredibly hopeful question. By combining personalized medicine with this kind of predictive technology, could we one day get to a point where we can stop manic episodes before they even begin? That's the ultimate goal. That's what's driving the future of this entire field. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.